So how would you say the veterans treated you when you were first breaking into the business?
Normal for a young guy. I mean, they beat me up, but I had a really good trainer in Herb Welch from the famous Welch family. They ran the wrestling all over the Mid-South. They had part of Florida, they had part of Atlanta, they had the Gulf Coast and Mobile, they had Alabama, they had Tennessee, they had part of Kentucky, they had part of Bruiser's territory in Louisville and Evansville, Indiana. And so just by being trained by someone of that stature gave me, like Lou Thez, the first time I wrestled him, he said, "Who trained you?" And I said, "Herb Welch." He said, "Herb's a good guy, he's a good trainer." But in the meantime, when we went out to the ring, Herb had already told me, "Be careful of this guy now." And I said, "What do I need to know?" He says, "Well, he's going to back you against the ropes. He's going to give you this punch with an elbow to the head and to the side of the jaw." And he said, just be ready for it. He's going to wrist lock you and take you over, so make sure you get your wrist on your stomach because he can pull your shoulder out of socket. And he's going to do this thing and this. And he did it all exactly like my trainer had told me. But I knew how to reverse these holds. Once he had me down, then I would reverse it, and he'd reverse it, put it back on me. We came out of the match, he says, "You've been trained pretty good. How long have you been doing this?" I said, 9 months. And he told the promoter, he said, "Next month when I come back, I want to wrestle this guy again."
Wow, what was that like, knowing how huge?
Oh, I was scared to death. I mean, this was Lou Thez, and we were in like an outlaw territory, and he drove down from St. Louis because he was a big star. And this little town was about 100 miles out of St. Louis, and it was about 100 miles out of Memphis. So I would drive there, and Coco would. Coco and I trained together. We'd drive there every Saturday night and wrestle. And I'd go back and teach school on Monday through Friday, and then every Sunday, Saturday, I'd go wrestle, and every Sunday I'd drive back to Dyersburg, Tennessee, and train again. I kept training after I had my matches, and that's I think a key part that some of the young fellas miss now is they get trained, and then they don't ever go back to training school. I think you really need to go back again, and I did. I went back and kept going back to training school even after I'd had matches, because having 1 or 2 matches doesn't mean you know anything.
So just going back a little bit to Lou Thez, what's your overall opinion of him? I've heard lots of different stories, like he was a bit of a bully in the ring, ate people up, wasn't good at making wrestlers look good all the time unless he respected them. What do you think of him overall? That's
pretty much how Lou was. For some guys that probably didn't have the training I did from somebody, if he knew Vern Gagne trained you, then he wouldn't beat up on you as bad. If he knew Ole and Gene Anderson trained you, he wouldn't beat up on you. If he knew that Eddie Graham and Hiro Matsuda from Florida had trained you, and my trainer Herb Welch, these were legitimate trainers, and he respected those guys, and he respected the fact that they wouldn't have trained someone that was not going to be good. So in that respect, he was not as mean and ornery, but I knew that at any given time he could turn on me, because if you did something wrong, he would let you know you did it wrong, and he let you know right away in the ring. Lou would take liberties with people, and liberties to all the fans out there means that he would hit you when you weren't looking, or give you that elbow to the side of the head and make blood come out your ear, or cross-face you. He was real bad about cross-facing guys, hammer-locking you and then cross-facing you, and put the side of his arm right here. He would put that part of his arm right on your nose and just squeeze it until it was either going to break or you gave up. Or you learned how to get out of the hold.